Welcome to Now You Know, where we inform the public about different topics. And really, it's topics that you need to know about. And last time we talked about Con Edison, and this time we're going to be talking about the Mount Vernon Financial Empowerment Center. I would say that we all want to build wealth, but we just don't know how. Many of us don't know. So we're going to learn today. But before we start, meet the team.
Hi, I'm Cedric Smith. How you doing? I'm Connor Henry.
And I'm Giovanna Simmons. So we have with us Ashley Britton, and she's going to give us all sorts of information that we want to know.
So Ashley, again, thank you for coming to the show. Really do appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
It's going to be a great interview. I appreciate it. So first question, Ashley. What is the Mount Vernon Financial Empowerment Center, and what are the services they offer?
So the Mount Vernon and Financial Empowerment Center, I call it the hub of the financial Avengers, right? You think about your group of financial superheroes, right? That have different skill sets and different talents to be able to offer these free one-on-one financial counseling services to the residents of Mount Vernon and Westchester County as a whole. And the 4 pillars that I would say that our superheroes, our Avengers actually are specialized in is credit, debt, being able to come up with really great banking solutions and saving solutions. And one of my favorite out of all four of those pillars are the saving solutions, right? Because a lot of individuals in our community don't know different aspects of savings outside of either hiding it under their bed, putting it in their money book, or even just keeping it stationed in their bank account, right? But one thing that I believe I'm really taking, really paying attention to is something called high yield savings. Do y'all know what high yield savings accounts are?
No.
You do?
No, a little bit, but go ahead.
A little bit, right?
But before you go on, I got a question for you.
Oh, you got a question? I didn't even get, go ahead.
I want the address of people who hide it under their bed.
The address? The address, yes.
Go on.
No, so to be able to highlight that so that does not get lost, right? So the Mount Vernon Financial Empowerment Center is located at 130 Mount Vernon Avenue in Mount Vernon, New York, right? We're located out of the Mount Vernon Career Center in Mount Vernon, where people can actually come and get these financial counseling services and actually meet my team of Avengers, right? To be able to really be able to empower them with knowledge, but give them steps and strategies and hold them accountable to the things that they're actually coming to the Financial Empowerment Center to do, right? The one thing that we found to be the hardest is actually people them sticking to the actual plans and goals. But the one thing that we do is really hold people accountable to the things that they said that they wanted to accomplish when they walked through. And that's by way of the counseling.
So this is free?
It's 100% free. Ooh. Free 99, right? And the reason why that's even a thing is because it's a nonprofit organization, right? Mount Vernon, the city of Mount Vernon got this big grant to be able to do the Financial Empowerment Center. Wow. And we are partnered with Mercy University, which is the service provider. So while Mount Vernon got the grant, Mercy University is providing all of the services, and it's 100% paid for and backed already. Wow. So that's how it's free.
Wow.
So I'm trying to draw a picture of it. So somebody gets come in and they come and say, I want your services. Do they bring like the Con Edison bill, bring anything? What it just come in, and how does that work?
Honestly, bring yourself.
Just bring yourself.
Bring yourself, right? Because along the counseling journey, we'll be able to uncover everything that you're actually dealing with, right? And the one thing that our clients are dealing with for real is debt. Oh man, we're living.
That's a big topic.
We're living in a time where we're post-pandemic, even though we're about 2 years post-pandemic, but people have huge amounts of debt that they've accumulated during the pandemic because they weren't able to pay their rent, because they weren't able to pay their various bills, right? So we're able to really set up systems and being able to show them how to tackle those things.
Okay.
Or even being able to remove some things that might be able to be disputed on their reports, their credit reports. So that's how we
I'll say like the biggest form of debt would be credit card debt, right? That you get.
Student debt too, right?
Student debt would be it, right? Credit card debt, but also reckless spending debt. Reckless spending debt is insane, right? Because a lot of people use money as a source of comfort rather than leveraging it to be able to build a source of wealth, right? And it's easy to just spend the money, right? And it's harder to be able to save it if you don't have the strategies and principles or even the mindset to do so.
So what was that account that you were asking? They knew what it was, but I had no idea.
Yes, the high yield savings is my favorite because
okay.
as soon as my baby is born, his name is going on the high yield savings account. And my husband and I have vowed to put $100 each into this high yield savings account because what happens is your money goes into our bank account, depending on whatever banking solution or banking corporation that you want to go with, right? And depending on the percentage that that bank is offering within that market value time is what is added to your bank account every single month on top of what you're making, on top of what's there. So look at it as your savings is making you money every month. Right? And the one thing that I vowed to do is to put money into that high yield savings account to make my son money so that when he turns 18, he has this pool of money to pull from, but he has to come to me with a plan. Because you ain't going to just take out all of this money and just think you're going to spend it. It's not happening, right? You need to come to mom and dad with a plan, whether you're going to college, whether you're starting a business, whether you want to buy a house. That money that mom and dad have accumulated over the years for him, plus the high yield price, is going to be able to launch him off as soon as he turned 18. We're really setting up our children for generational wealth.
So with the debt, do they actually do a budget? How do they hold them accountable? Because you said that something about holding people accountable. What do they do?
So the one thing that we do in the first session of when we have any clients, something called a money tracker, right? And we track their money, not for us to be nosy, but so that they can be nosy for real, in regards to what they're actually having come into their account, into their lives financially, but also what's going out, right? And what we find is that a lot of our clients are just like overspending, and that's where the budgeting comes into place, right?
Uber Eats.
Uber Eats is dangerous, okay? Uber Eats is my arch nemesis. And I will say I ordered from Uber Eats 3 times this week. And I'm like, no, we can't do this, Ashley, we can't do it. But being able to come up with a budgeting plan, and the way we're able to do that is by way of our money tracker, to track their money. And also, it also tracks how much they're saving, how much they're bringing in, how much debt they're paying off. So it happens in multiple ways.
So how do they do it? Do they meet with you weekly, monthly? How does that work?
I'm happy you asked that question because it's really based off of the client, right? Yeah. So there's some times where myself or the financial counselors will say, okay, let's see you in 2 weeks. Are you okay with that? But then there's some people where we'll be confident, like, okay, we're putting these steps in place. I'm going to email you everything that we talked about and also go over the plans that we're putting you on. And we want to see you in a month and to see what you've actually done with what we actually put in place. So it goes based off of the counselor that built the relationship with the person and also the client. So we could see you once every month, once every few months, or once every week, right? Okay. So it's really a flexibility, and that decision is made between the counselor and the client.
Okay. So you have to go in person because this is great for Mount Vernon residents, but what if you live in Westchester County? Can you do Zoom?
You can do Zoom. Okay. And that's a part of this being able, individuals who are opting into financial counseling, we want this to be on their time and flexible for where they are in life, right? So there are individuals who do come in person to our location at 130 Mount Vernon Avenue, but then we have clients that are coming from Mercy University, right? That might live in the Bronx, that might live in Dobbs Ferry, right? That might live in Yonkers, right? And they're like, okay, can I have a Zoom session with you? That's when we do Zoom. Yeah. But the beautiful thing is that it's not just Zoom, it's not just in person. We also do phone call sessions as well, right? Because we don't want to not incorporate other age ranges as well, right? Yes. So we have phone sessions, especially with our older generations, to be able to meet them where they are so that they can opt in for the same sessions.
Oh, love that.
Yeah, so we know you're fairly new. This whole thing is fairly new, but you have some success stories. What's the success story you have?
I'll use one of the counselor stories because I want to say I seen the client this week and she was raving about her being able to see the steps and solutions actually lived out in her life. And she opened a bank account and she was able to save money. Another client was able to put $400 towards their car. One client came into a session with me, I want to say a week and a half ago, and they had talked to their ex-husband and their entire car was paid off, right? Because they were able to address certain things. And a client who spent $500 in February on out on eating food outside and doing all this stuff, dining. And she went from spending $500 in 1 month to only spending $41.
Wow.
Okay.
In March.
I need to write that down. What's the key to that?
Listen, the reason why she was able to do that is because everything was put in front of her.
Right.
And she looked at it and said, okay, I'm saying I want to save.
Yes.
I'm saying that I want to see financial success in my life, but I'm spending $500 a month on dining out and entertainment. Like, okay, let's see if I just sacrifice a bit, right? And say, okay, let me not spend $500. I didn't expect her to say she spent $41.50, but she came with the receipts. She opened up her bank account to me and showed me that she really just spent $41.
Wow.
Right? And she sacrificed, and that's a large part of it, right? Being able to sacrifice your current desires to be able to have future success.
Yeah.
Right? So you say you want to buy this house, you say you want to buy this car, you say you want to live this extravagant life, but what are you willing to sacrifice right now to be able to see that come to fruition? And I think a lot of people don't recognize, like, let me just sacrifice for these few months. Let me sacrifice for this 1 year to be able to see myself in a different position next year.
That makes so much sense. It's like, for instance, like right now, after getting married, I put on a lot of weight, eating.
Girl, you look good.
Oh, thank you.
You look good though.
I had to lose this weight. So, but I have to sacrifice. I have to sacrifice the sugar cookies, the cinnamon rolls. Look, my husband is Southern and he cooks. I gotta sacrifice those biscuits.
What's the best thing he
those
cooked?
homemade biscuits. Let me tell you.
I could just imagine.
Yes, and I have to sacrifice that if I want the body that I want.
Yes.
So in the same way, you have to sacrifice financially if you want to attain your goals.
Yes, I love that you put it that way, right? You have to sacrifice for the financial body that you want to see yourself walk
I like that.
Right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
being able to recognize that, yes, right now I might go without, so I might not be able to get my nails done. May not be able to do all of these things, but that's okay because instead of paying money to other people, let me pay myself.
Yeah.
Let me think of myself first,
Yes.
right? Let me
like
think of
that.
myself because I want to be in a certain place. And I know that, especially for myself, I don't just counsel just to counsel. I'm living this out every single day, right? And I'm seeing that this stuff actually works. Not just as someone who is counseling someone, but I'm applying it too to be able to see success in my life so that I can really convince you.
Yeah,
so that you
yes.
know that you're not in this journey by yourself, right? And I remember I was telling someone, I spoke at Mount Vernon High School, and they asked me what was the biggest amount of money that I got, and I tracked it back to when I used to do sales, right? And I remember when I got my first commission check, right? $15,000, right?
Feel like a lot. It feels like a lot.
It felt like a lot because I never had that much money before. And I looked at this check. I said, "Is this all mine?" I know I was going door to door. I know I was selling these LED light
you
bulbs.
was working hard.
I knew I was selling these energy rates to get clients. I know what I was doing, but I didn't expect that much money. You know what I did with that check? I went and put money down in the car, and I didn't even have a license. I said, make it. I thought I was big balling back then. Yeah. But if I would have known the strategies now with the money that I was getting then, it would have changed the trajectory of my life.
Yes.
But the beautiful thing is that the principles that I know now with the money that I was making then still stand today.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I just have to make the right decisions with the money that's coming in my hand now to be able to see my life flourish in such a way because, like I said, and you'll see the theme of this, my ideal goal is generational wealth, period.
Yes.
My children will know about money. They will know about wealth. They will know that they won't have to struggle in their life because mommy is making sacrifices now for them in the future. And this is the thing that I'm making sure is really told to even the clients that we service.
Yeah.
Wow.
And having the influence from outside entities like the music and different people doing certain things against, but breaking that mentality, and that's what you're doing. And it's like you're breaking the generational curse that you said, right?
Yes.
And now moving forward, we're gonna make some big generational wealth. Sorry about that. Yeah.
No, you know what's so funny about that? I'm happy you introduced that because there's a workshop that I'm actually building out right now for a different group of individuals that I've never worked with before to be able to show them that wealth is possible by way of credit too, right? And teaching them the credit principles, right? Teaching them how to attain it, how to read their credit report, right? Going through all these steps. And I use, the show Power, right?
Yes, we all know the show.
Right? It's a big rich town. Hello. And being able to take the characters and put credit personas to those characters to be able to showcase them credit in a different way so that they're able to manage it. So even when you see the biggest, wealthiest person like Ghost, James St. Patrick, right? When you see him, just because you see wealth doesn't mean the background behind that is also stable, right? The credit lifestyle is stable, right?
Yeah.
So being able to teach that, yes, you want to look luxurious, right? But what does your money really look like in the background? What does your credit persona actually say about you, right? What do lenders believe about you? Hello, because you need to run your credit to get an apartment these days.
That's right.
You need to run your credit to get a car. Like, I feel like your credit is your new ID or your social security card, right? So unless you really have a good credit persona and outlook on it, it changes how you're able to attain the things that you actually want.
Yeah,
I love it. I love the idea that you mentioned that you went into the high school because the earlier you start, and then we're not normally taught that, as a culture, like, hey, this is how you do it.
If minority, you don't know it, and then it's cycles. So if your grandparents don't know to teach your parents, and your parents don't know to teach you, and you don't know to teach your children, and it's just on and on. You're just trying to figure it out.
Struggle and broke.
And you're trying, and it's a cycle.
This is actually something that's been on my heart. I feel like y'all are introducing a lot of different things that have been something that's weighing on me heavy, right? And I spoke at a conference about 2 weeks ago at Mercy University. And these young people, they were from I want to say 8th grade to 11th. And a lot of them were afraid to have money conversations. Because they weren't taught to ask questions. They weren't taught to explore. They weren't taught to be curious of the things that come with money. All they were told, go to college, do it this way, and that's it. But do you know that there's going to be a big bill after college, right? What does that look like, right? Being able to explore the fact that all of these different aspects of money come into your life and you're introduced to it as soon as you graduate, right? Whether you decide to go to college or whether you decide to just get an apartment. Con Edison rates, my gosh.
Oh, we had a whole thing on
last week.
Last week. Check that out.
Right.
Right? And that's something that we're hearing from our clients. I'm talking about the rates that they're experiencing. And as I said already, I used to work for an energy company selling LED light bulbs at energy rates. So I'm just like, I remember when the rates used to be 7 cents per kilowatt hour. But now, but being able to introduce these different conversations to young people so that they know where their money is going to be going. So that they're not afraid to explore it, so that they're not afraid to explore entrepreneurship, right? And being able to know what comes beyond that outside of just making $1 million. You owe taxes on that $1 million. You know that? It's not free $1 million.
It's not free at all. It's not.
Sure not.
But being able to explore, expose them to that is something that they had questions like after it, and they did not know that they could ask those questions.
Wow. That's so deep. So much to think about.
I know,
a lot to process.
It's a lot to process.
But now we have help, which is good. That you guys, you have help. You have some, stuff online you look into. There's no reason to be ignorant on finance.
Yes, and the beautiful thing about the Financial Empowerment Center is that we have diversity on our team, right? Where we have even a bilingual financial counselor, Spanish speaking, right? Because we have a large community here as well that we are servicing.
Yes.
And we want to make sure that that is made available in the Financial Empowerment Center.
And it's not a hole in the wall. Actually, I've been there. It's a beautiful place. So it's not like it's a hole in the wall. It's nice with computers around. It's a nice center. They build something nice.
And you have access to multiple things. And that's the beautiful thing about where we're located, right?
Right in Mount Vernon.
Right in Mount Vernon. And if it's financial literacy that you're looking for, come and get it. Job searching, that's what you're looking for, come and get it. Like, so we're in
job searching. Wait.
Yeah, we're in the hub.
Let's talk about that. Because there's a lot of people who's looking for
jobs.
They need that.
Yeah.
So you offer that for free?
So we don't offer it, but the hub that we live out of offers that stuff. Like resume writing and all of that. So you get all of these different services in one space. Right?
For free.
For free!
Now Mount Vernon really earning the name. Money earning,
right?
You're really earning that name.
And I'm happy you said that because I'm from Mount Vernon, right? While I was born in Mount Kisco, don't judge me, I was raised in Mount Vernon from the age of like 1 or 2 years old.
Wow.
So I went to every school in Mount Vernon. I did that, right? So I am bred in Mount Vernon.
Wow.
And I'm like, if money earning Mount Vernon is the name of this, right? I want us to flip what this wealth gap looks like, and really show people that it's possible. And I know that life really has been throwing different curveballs at people, and people have lived certain lifestyles for generations to generations, but it's about exposing someone to a lifestyle that they didn't know that they can live, or they didn't believe that they can live. And financial stability is possible.
Right.
Come to the Mount Vernon Financial Empowerment Center, because my counselors and I, we hold people accountable to being able to recognize that it's possible.
So
Well, that's it. I need to sign up today.
Let's go.
What's
So EC, we're all different age groups on this table. Now, the one thing I've noticed, and we brought this up also when I met you at the financial center, not just children, but also adults can join this program as well. Meaning like adults with mortgages and different tax brackets, they can actually come and get educated.
Yes,
as well, right?
absolutely. So we only financial counsel consenting age, so 18 and above. But we do workshops for those under the age of 18. So to opt into the actual service, to get the counseling, you have to be 18 and above. But we're not turning you away. Doesn't matter if you rich and you're just trying to figure out how to manage your Roth RIA and figure out, like I have a client who is trying to shop Roth RIAs right now and get the best percentage, right? She wants to make the most of her money, right? And she said, hey, this is what I have, and this is the percentage that they're offering me on my Roth RIA. Is there something better, right? Being able to expose them to something, and we have to, as counselors, have to do the research and find the best route for them.
I love that, because sometimes someone could feel like, oh, well, I'm too good to go to this program. I make enough. Why would I need to be informed? I know how to do it on my own. But that shows that anyone can benefit from information.
Anyone can benefit from information, right? Information is the key to unlock like the most extraordinary things in your life, right? You're never too good to say you opting out of something, right? Maybe this may not be the thing for you, and that's okay, right? But let us point you in a direction where you can go to be able to take it.
Or tell someone about it as well.
Tell everybody.
Tell everybody.
Tell your mom, tell your brother, tell your grandma, tell everybody you know about the Financial Empowerment Center, because everyone can benefit.
Well, we love it because you have so much passion about it. We know that you have, if all the counselors as good as you, boy,
they're better than me. I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
It's the Avengers.
It's the Avengers. Right?
Every Avenger is good.
Yes,
in their own way.
You got some Black Widows. You got some Iron Mans. You got some Hulk.
Captain America.
You got some Captain Americas. You got some Captain Marvel.
Yes.
You'll find whichever Avenger within the team, right?
Yes.
That is right for you.
Oh, wow.
So, what's your vision for FEC, in the next few years?
I would say that I envision there to be multiple FECs throughout Westchester County. Right? Mount Vernon, I want to say we're the pilot.
Wow.
We're the start. We're the start, right? We're the thing that's starting the engine. We're the gas in the engine, right? And then being able to say, no, this is something that everyone can opt into. So even if you don't live in Mount Vernon, like maybe I'm gonna go to Yonkers. Maybe that's just Ashley. Ashley saying that. I'm not saying anybody else is saying that. But Ashley envisions this being something that goes beyond just Mount Vernon, right? That everyone can benefit from. Every city can benefit from, because every city can. Every city can.
Well, Ashley, we thank you so much for coming, and we're gonna have her information on the back when we do the rolls, so people can get in touch with her.
And I mean, this is something that we can tell is just starting to grow, but it's going to be something really big. I mean, I feel bad for financial advisors because you might be taking their job.
Because you're getting it for free.
For free.
Save that couple of $1,000 and come to the it's the same quality service.
Yes. I mean, sounds like to me even better.
I'll take it. We better.
You guys open on the weekend? Quick.
No, not as of right now.
Okay. All right.
But who knows? In the future, it's a possibility.
Okay, so Ashley, what's your contact information? How can people get in contact with you?
So you could easily give a call to 914-813-7335.
Say that again. Slow.
Sorry. I'm a fast talker. I'm sorry. So you can give a call to 914-813-7335. Or you could just send an email at info, which is INFO, at Mount Vernon, and that's Mount Vernon spelled out, FEC.org.
I just love that you were raised in Mount Vernon and you're serving the community that you were raised in. I think that's beautiful.
Awesome. I love it. I live in Mount Vernon. I don't want to move out. My husband, he probably has a different story, but
They always do. They always do.
Thank you for having me.
Great conversation, great information, and thank you for coming, Ashley.
Thank you for having me.
All right. Thank you.
Now you know. Get to it.